We see cars getting sleeker and more futuristic on the outside all the time, right? But believe it or not, the biggest change isn't something you can see. It's this silent revolution that's happening right under the hood. The engine as we know it is being totally reinvented. So let's dive into what's really going on.
So you gotta ask, right? With all the talk about electric cars, it feels like the good old combustion engine, the thing that's powered us for over a century, is basically heading for a museum. But is that actually true?
Nope, not even close. The reality is, the internal combustion engine is getting one of the biggest, most important upgrades in its entire history. It's getting smarter, way more efficient, and yeah, even more powerful. All at the same time, a brand new electric rival is stepping into the ring.
Okay, so why all the change all of a sudden? Well, for all of its power, the traditional engine has always had a few, let's call them weaknesses, and those challenges have finally forced a major rethink. It pretty much boils down to these three things. First, it's just wildly inefficient. Get this, in a normal car, about 70% of the energy you get from gasoline is just lost as heat. It never even gets to the wheels. Second, obviously, the environmental impact. Emissions are a huge deal globally. And third, well, there's us. We always want more power, right? But we definitely don't want to pay for it at the gas station. It's this huge puzzle that engineers have been trying to solve for years.
So the first batch of solutions wasn't about replacing the engine. It was about making the one we already have work a whole lot smarter. Let's pull back the curtain and see how they're actually pulling it off.
First up, a word you've probably heard a million times: turbocharging. At its heart, it's just this brilliant recycling system. It actually takes the engine's own waste, that hot exhaust gas, and uses it to give the engine a massive boost in power.
So here's the quick version of how it works. That exhaust that would normally just go out the tailpipe, it gets rerouted to spin a little wheel called a turbine. That turbine is connected to another wheel, a compressor, which sucks in fresh air and shoves it into the engine. More air means you can burn fuel more completely, getting more power. The result? You can have a small, fuel-sipping engine that punches way above its weight. It's just so clever.
All right, next up is variable valve timing, or VVT. The easiest way to picture this is to think of it as giving the engine a set of smart lungs. So when you're just cruising down the highway, it can take these little sips of air to save fuel. But the second you put your foot down, it can take a huge, deep breath for maximum power. It's constantly adjusting to exactly what you're doing.
And then you've got cylinder deactivation. This one's kind of like a runner who decides to only use one leg when they're going downhill to save energy. When you're just cruising and don't need all that power, the engine literally shuts down a few of its cylinders to save gas. And don't worry, they kick back on instantly the moment you need them.
So what's the bottom line here? When you bundle all these smart technologies together, you're looking at a real improvement in fuel economy, up to 15%. And that's not just a number on a page. That's a difference you actually feel at the pump.
But look, making the gas engine smarter is only half of the story. The other, much bigger shift is bringing electricity into the picture. And this is changing everything. We're not just talking about an upgrade anymore. This is a whole new way forward.
Now this is where all the terms can get a little confusing, but it's actually pretty simple. You've got two main paths. On one side, you have hybrids. Think of them as a team effort between a gas engine and an electric motor. On the other side are the all-electric vehicles, or EVs, which have just completely ditched the gas engine. They run on nothing but battery power, which means, of course, zero emissions from the tailpipe. The energy behind this whole shift is just undeniable. And this quote really sums up how the entire industry is thinking right now. It really isn't a question of if the future is electric anymore. The only question is how fast we're all going to get there. But let's get a reality check. What's on the road today? Well, traditional gas engines still have the lion's share, for sure. But hybrids and EVs together, they now make up a quarter of the entire market. I mean, that is a huge slice of the pie that basically didn't exist a decade ago. It's growing like crazy. So this isn't some far-off future we're talking about. It's happening right now. Okay, so you have all these different technologies fighting for the top spot. Smarter gas engines, hybrids, full EVs. What in the world does this all mean for you? You know, the person who actually has to go out and buy a car. This chart really lays out the trade-offs, doesn't it? One of those new advanced gas engines, it's probably going to have the lowest price tag up front and, of course, super convenient range for long road trips. A hybrid sits right in that sweet spot in the middle. You get awesome range, but with a much lower environmental footprint. And then all electric. Yeah, it's usually a higher upfront cost, and range can vary, but you get that massive win of zero tailpipe emissions.
So,
Here's the real takeaway from all of this. There is no single best engine. There's just no magic answer. The right technology is the one that actually fits your life. It's a personal decision, right? A balance between your budget, how you drive, and what matters most to you. Whether that's convenience, saving money on gas in the long run, or having the smallest carbon footprint possible, you've never had more choice than you do right now.
So, from super smart combustion to the full-blown electric revolution, the very heart of the car is changing faster than ever before. The engine isn't dying. Not at all. It's evolving. It's diversifying. Which really only leaves one question. What kind of future are you going to be driving?